I've been doing so well. Right, here we go. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the last day of Thinking Beyond the Ties. Lovely workshop thus far. I know we've had a lot of amazing presentations for the entire week, and we're ending with a bang and tapping into all our creative skills today. So today's session is about artistic expressions in marine conservation, and we have Darlien Morales from Puerto Rico, cinematographer and filmmaker, producer, right? We have Joshua Miller, who does ocean concerts and very interested in that. We also have Janina Rossiter. Yeah,
Janina.
Okay, you're right, right. Who is an artist and an author, and we have Javier Diaz, underwater photographer from Panama. So to kick things off, we're going to jump straight into it because some of our speakers have to hop off, but they were very much happy and willing to be here with us today. And one of our speakers is actually at ECOP and has been for the entire time. And you should definitely follow their work on social media. But Joshua, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Khadija. Can you hear me okay? Get a thumbs up.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Well, hey, everyone. Thanks for that warm intro. And as Khadija mentioned, my name is Joshua Sam Miller. I'm a musician, an ocean activist, and immersive experience producer from the United States. And I'm currently at the COP, just finishing up 2 weeks of talks and presentations and networking events to really understand the issues facing the health of our planet. And I'm always so inspired when I come to these conferences because you really get to see everyone's best ideas for how we can make a difference in the world. And I think it's more important these days than ever to be exposed to those ideas and those conversations. So yeah, a little bit about me, and then we're going to watch a short video because what I do is best described by feeling and experiencing the artwork rather than me describing it to you. So I'll give you a brief introduction about a project that I've created called Sounds of the Ocean, which is an immersive, mindful experience to connect with the ocean and yourself. And we are a music project at our core, but we've also expanded into visual art, underwater cinematography, and animation to really help people have both a meditative experience for their own well-being and feel connection to life in the ocean. The experience was very much inspired by my time scuba diving as a kid and an adult. I've been a diver for about 20 years and composed the music to try and simulate that. So we usually do concerts of around an hour to about an hour and a half, and have condensed some of that down into a short preview video that we can play now, which would be great.
Okay, let me share my screen. You see in the video, right? Yes?
Yes, that's perfect. We can make it full screen.
Yeah.
As we listen to these dolphins swimming, just remember a moment that you have when you're at the ocean, at the beach. A moment that brings joy and happiness and love.
All right. Welcome back from your journey. Hopefully, even though it was a short taste, we were able to offer some relaxation and peace. I see a few comments here. Thank you for sharing that. And let's see, for people who might not have access to the natural sounds of the ocean, absolutely. This actually was a big intention when creating this project that I was planning to talk about today, because as I mentioned, growing up a diver, you know, I received so much from being in the ocean. And I think as artists, we are all pulling from our own life experience and then recreating things that are an interpretation, you know, of our own experience. And I realized exactly that when I started out with this project, that most people probably would not have access to scuba dive, for example. And that's also not necessarily the healthiest for the planet for everyone to go into the ocean either. And it's been quite sad to watch a lot of the dive sites that I went to as a kid, you know, be much more polluted than they were back then. So I think there's a lot of beauty and benefit to being able to bring the ocean into our more urban environments. And I'm so inspired by the technology that we have now, which didn't exist 10, 20 years ago, to be able to do that. And I actually have a few photos to share of the performance we did last week at the COP. So I'll just open my screen share here, if I can get that going. So can you guys see this photo?
Not yet.
Yes. Ah,
No.
Okay. How about now?
No, still not seeing the picture.
Okay. Wait. Here we go. Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, this was a sample of a performance last week at the COP, and I am personally creatively really inspired by these large format installation spaces that exist now. This was a flat screen on a stage, you know, at a hotel conference room, and I feel like it really just brings the power of the ocean into the space, which is where we are heading with our project to share in more immersive spaces like this. We are working on an installation for next year. And I just want to show you one more photo because this one's pretty incredible. So, can you see that one?
Not
With the whale?
yet. Yes.
Okay. So you can imagine, you know, being in such close proximity to whales at this scale and of this size is a very, very intimate experience while listening to what they are saying, which of course is a mystery, but many scientists have tried their best to interpret that. We do believe that the whale sounds we are using in our show are a love song between two whales mating each other. And there is so much that's been studied already and still needs to be studied about the power of whale and dolphin communication for improving our own mental health, which I find fascinating as an artist, a diver, and you know, just a human. And I think for anyone who's been on a whale watching trip themselves or swimming with dolphins, you can attest to that. It's something that's a felt experience. And we're hoping to recreate that for people who, as we mentioned before, might not be able to go have the experience themselves. And okay. I will drop a link in the chat here in case anyone would like to stay in touch with us. We would love to have you at an upcoming concert or connect on social media and really bring the power of the ocean to your community. And the one other point that I do want to touch on is, I think one thing that I've thought about in creating this project that might be helpful for other artists and other creators is really to think about how a project can make a large impact and extend beyond the experience itself. So everywhere that we perform, we partner with a local NGO and raise awareness around the work that they're doing in their own community by either giving them the floor to speak and talk about upcoming beach cleanups or conservation projects that are happening in that area, and supporting with fundraising and donation charity events as well when possible. And this part of our project, I think, has really made it really what it is today. I think that collaborative approach is so important when trying to do anything in the art world, and it's very rewarding too to see your creation be able to give back to places. So that's been a very good part of our journey. And yeah, maybe Khadija, do you want to open it up for any questions or discussion about all of that? What's good for
Yeah.
you?
No problem. We can open it up for questions, but thank you so much for the presentation and for that lovely video. I saw somebody was saying, Khadija, we should have started with this on Monday to set the tone for the week and for us to be all peaceful and relaxed. And it was really great hearing, the music, the sounds coming from the ocean. And I know for me, especially going to the beach and just lying down and just simply hearing the waves crashing on the shore is the most relaxing thing possible. So thank you so much for that. Somebody saying just what I needed this morning. Amazing work. So does anyone have any questions for Joshua? Now is the time before he hops off really quick to go and carry those amazing songs to other people present at COP. Questions or comments? But I would ask you a question. I would love to know, when are you bringing Sounds of the Ocean to the Caribbean? Next year? I feel like we could work on making something happen next year. Joshua,
Internet is a little unstable.
That's okay. That's fine. I feel like you could probably take off your camera to not stress the bandwidth. And I'm seeing a lot of great way to start off this Friday. Amazing music, a lot of hearts. So thank you so much. And I feel like if you have to hop off, now is the time. And if anybody wants to connect, they could reach out to you via social media, or if anybody have any questions, you could ask me, I could get the answers for you. And I would also share the 15-minute video in the chat for everybody to also listen and connect with in the future. So thank you so much, Joshua. I hope you're hearing me with all this praise and stuff I am giving, even though your internet is not cooperating.
I do hear you, and really appreciate the invitation to join today. I would love to stay and listen to the other incredible presenters, but we do have a concert tonight, so I will be taking off in a moment. And definitely encourage anyone to reach out through the way touch and really keep creating the positive momentum that we're working towards. So.
Okay. Thanks so much, and all the best in your concert this evening. And on that note, we will move on to our next speaker. I will call you Nina. Is that fine? Can I? Yeah. We'll move on to Nina,
Yes.
our artist and author for today. So Nina, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much for having me. Really enjoyed listening to Josh and the music. And as many of you said, it's setting the tone for the ocean vibes. It's really, really beautiful. Also, being in a community where everyone shares their artwork and we can learn from each other is really motivating to fight the battles we have to fight to protect our oceans. So thank you again for inviting me. So I have prepared a little presentation to present my work because I'm a visual artist. I raise awareness through my art. So the best way to do that is to show you a little presentation. And then if we have enough time, I'll read you a little passage from my book. But first of all, let me So let me just remove that and move this smaller. So, it's Artivism work by Janina Rossiter, but you can say Nina. And here's just a little introduction of myself, but you have seen me in person. So I have one thing that I always say is I hope that through my art and my love of this for the sea, I can make my voice heard and make a difference. I explain that a little bit more in a few minutes. So I'm not a scuba diver, but I am a competitive swimmer since the age of 5. So I've spent a lot of time in my life in water, and I feel very, very connected to water. And I think that's where the love for the ocean also comes from. I think when you love water and you love swimming, you automatically love the ocean. So I call myself an artivist. It's not a word I invented. It's something that is coming from the word art and activism. It makes the word artivism. And it's more and more artists become artivists because I think more and more artists are aware of the problems we are facing in the world with climate change, plastic pollution, endangered sea creatures. And I think more and more artists feel the need to give a voice to these animals and to the ocean and raise awareness. For me, the ocean was something, as I said, I'm deeply connected to. So I felt when I learned about the sea creatures that are endangered, like the vaquita or the sharks, the shark finning, I really felt I had to do something about this. Here, for example, as well, about plastic pollution with the plastic planet in the right corner. So, and I haven't always been an artivist, and I run artivist chats on Clubhouse where I talk to other artists about the moment when they became an artivist, because I always feel that something happened in our life where there was a turning point. And for me, that turning point happened in the aquarium. I know aquariums, there's always the discussion of if they're good or if they're not good, but there's also the point of education there. And for me, the aquarium has changed me and has made me into an artivist. So for me, it has given me a great value, and I appreciate that. So they had a show on about plastic pollution, and my daughter was involved in the show. She wanted to help the sea creatures to clean up the ocean. And at that point, I wasn't yet so aware of plastic pollution, of all the problems. And but when I was watching the show, I came home and I wanted to discover more about the issue. And I started researching plastic pollution, and I came across images that I haven't come across before, and that shocked me so deeply that I felt that I have to kind of use my voice as well to raise awareness. And at that moment, I was writing a book about sea creatures and numbers. And that book had nothing to do with plastic pollution or raising awareness of any problems our world is facing. But at that moment, I decided, okay, my book has to raise awareness and has to give the message that we have to protect our planet. So this is really how 123 Who's Cleaning the Sea started. And it's a book about 10 different items that we can find in our oceans, plastic items that pollute our oceans, so the 10 most items found. And it's a book that doesn't scare or upset children. It doesn't show animals dying or entangled or anything that could make anyone upset. It's a book that that is motivating, and that is motivating to make everyone a beach cleaner, that helps to protect our oceans and to help the animals. So it's written in a positive way to give positive action. And here are a few examples from the book. So the sea creatures are finding trash, and they are talking to the children about what they have to do to keep our oceans clean. Then after that book, I felt I learned more and more about endangered sea creatures, and I felt that there's not just plastic pollution, there's also climate change, there's noise pollution, especially which we just heard from Josh, which the music, the sounds, they're important, but we are polluting our oceans with noise and with other problems. So I felt there's another book to write that talks about a lot more than just plastic, and I wanted to reconnect children to nature, and I thought the way to do it is to discover. And I find that in schools we often learn things like geometry. We learn things very like straightforward, you know, a circle is a circle, a square is a square. But when we are in nature, there are so many things we can discover, and so many shapes we can discover, but they're not, you know, straightforward. So I wanted to really take the children on this journey to discover shapes like the diamond shape of the rays, or, you know, the dorsal fin of a whale, and have connected the issues of the ocean and how we can protect these sea creatures in that book. So, and then I have also helped other organizations in the past to raise awareness. For example, I helped the Marine Diaries with their ecosystem project and designed a poster to talk about blue carbon and to protect mangroves. Later on, I decided to send this poster or drawing illustration to Explorers Against Extinction to help to raise funds for their projects to protect wildlife. And what I didn't realize at that point when I sent this picture off to help to raise funds was that it was actually a competition. And I ended up winning the competition in the category Wild Spaces, which was a huge surprise and very positive bonus of just wanting to and trying to help. And what I didn't know at that time as well, that Explorers Against Extinction had applied for exhibition spaces at COP26 last year. And they got selected. And from the 1,000 entries of artworks that they had received, they selected 5 to be exhibited at COP26, and the mangrove was one of them. So this is, for example, a picture from the Blue Zone from the Leaders Lounge that I found on Twitter with Angela Merkel, and a Jamaican representatives. I forgot the name right now. I'm sorry. I would drop it in the chat in a minute. That I found that picture on Twitter, and it was quite amazing to see that. And then some of the artwork from my book 123 Who's Cleaning the Sea was exhibited at Change Now in the Grand Palais. So that was quite a huge success, and here are a few images from that. And then I tried to recreate images of water in my paintings. So these are paintings in different techniques where I tried to re-imitate the ocean. And I use two techniques where I do as well drawings, stippling drawings that I mix together. And then I go to schools and I ask the children to create an artivist piece, because I like to put these children as well on a little journey to discover what the problems are and how we can help and support. And at the end of the workshop I do with the children, I ask them to create their own artivism piece. And they're always very, very beautiful pieces and amazing artwork. And then I just wanted to give an example of different art pieces I've done, for example, to protect or defend the deep against deep sea mining. And so this was a poster I've done for an activist in France to raise awareness. Here I wanted to raise awareness of the overfishing and the fishing nets found in our ocean, because often a lot of plastic is actually fishing nets. So I just wanted to raise awareness in this piece by making a fish out of fishing nets. And then, as you already saw at the very beginning, we live in a plastic planet. It's like everything is plastic, it's everywhere. So I just wanted to highlight that. This as well is an artivist piece where I wanted to talk about the issues with nurdles, which are plastic pellets that are often used to make plastic, as well as the plastic itself, the microplastic and the mercury. So when we eat fish, how it affects our own health. And I just wanted to kind of put that all in one image. Same here, plastic has been found in our organs, it's in our blood, it's everywhere. And I just wanted to, in an image, kind of give that message that, you know, how good is it for our own health and what can we do to reduce it? So to just open our eyes a little bit more of how it affects us. This is one of the images from the book that you've seen earlier. So a sea turtle can't really tell the difference between a plastic bag and a jellyfish. And instead of showing a sea turtle that is dying of plastic, I just wanted to show the consequence of what happens if they can't tell the difference. Every child can say or can tell that it is not good, but they actually don't see something horrible. They see something, you know, beautiful, I would say, you know, beautiful water and jellyfish swimming with plastic bags, but they understand very well that this is not a good, that this is not good for them. And here as well, I just wanted to say, you know, the colors of the climate stripes, where, you know, it has recorded which year has been warmer and which year has been hotter than average. And here I just wanted to kind of put that idea as well into the carbon, the feet, like this is our carbon footprint. We started with a normal planet and we're heating it up because of the activities we do by burning fossil fuels. And this is an artivist piece I've done for the Stop Finning campaign to stop the trade in Europe, which raised over 1 million signatures and was successful. So that was an artivist piece I did for that. And also for the octopuses to not have octopus farms in Portugal and in other parts of the world, to say, okay, these creatures should not be farmed and just raised to be killed for our food. It's not okay. And that's for, stop sharing.
Thank you so much, Nina.
Where are you? I can't see you. How do I get back? How do I get back?
Just type in the search button.
There you go. Oh.
Yeah. Are you still going to read a little piece from your book? Or
Yeah, so I just wanted to
Yeah.
show this. So this is the stippling technique I do, and then I mix it with the artwork. And I just wanted to see if we have the time, because what I do with the children, I ask them to guess the sea creature. So you can guess in the chat if you want. So I'm just going to read you a part, and then you can guess. So it's connected to the shape hearts. These creatures live in every ocean, and some are always found in motion. They even outlive dinosaurs. The proof is on the ocean floors. Hundreds of teeth, row after row, in heart-shaped forms, they grow and grow. No need to fear them. Have some respect. We're sharing the oceans we want to protect. I know you have already found out which sea creature I'm talking about. Well, I hope you have. Has anyone? Yes. First one, it was sharks. And then I give a few ideas about what the facts are. So some people think that sharks are scary, but studies show it's the contrary. Whale sharks are nice, you're not their prey. They are the largest fish alive today. The smallest is the dwarf lantern shark. It lives where the ocean's deep and dark. These fish came millions of years ago, but populations are now quite low. Sharks should be swimming in the sea and not be served as soup for tea. These predators are very clever. Let's stop them being lost forever. Protect them, please, with all your heart, and give them all a great new start. So that was one chapter.
Thank you so very much. Absolutely amazing artwork, very eye-catching, and I love the fact that you focus on one, making it educational and informative, but without making it traumatizing to children. Because sometimes seeing sea turtle, like choking on plastic, like it could be a lot. It could be harsh for even myself to see sometimes. So to have it in a digestible manner for kids to, one, relate it, and then two, be excited and wanting to learn more, wanting to understand how they could do more, and being visually drawn to your creations, I think that is absolutely incredible. Let me read some of the comments. This is amazing. These pieces are fantastic. Beautiful work, Nina. Absolutely inspiring. Whoa, love this stuff piece. Beautiful illustrations, very beautiful. Your work is lovely and breathtaking. Would you ever consider making a coloring book, even if it's black and white version, to the book that you have already published?
I actually have been planning that since forever, but I haven't gotten around to it. And yeah, a coloring book would be a good idea. But I just wanted to get back to your comments. So the evening after the aquarium, when I started to research plastic pollution and all the sea creatures I saw dying, the albatross with the plastic in the stomach, and I was actually spending a lot of time crying when I saw all of these horrible things. And that was the moment where I knew I didn't want to recreate that in children. I didn't want to make them feel what I felt. But at the same time, I wanted to raise awareness. So this is where the strong point of I have to make it positive came from, because I didn't really want to feel what I felt and recreate that in others.
Yeah, love that. I'm seeing people saying I'll buy that coloring book. The carbon footprint piece is so clever. All your artwork is so stunning and portrays strong messages. I love it. And then somebody asked if you could drop the link for your books.
Okay, yeah, I can do that. I can drop my website where there's a link to all the books and then points in the right direction. So thank you so much. And yeah, if any other questions, otherwise, thank you so much for having me and for your kind words. And
of course. So does anyone have any last questions? Because Nina also has to hop off. So now is the time. If not, once again, like I said, you could connect with her on social media, on LinkedIn, or reach out via the website. That is literally what I did. I just sent a connect request on LinkedIn, and I was just like, hey, I have this workshop. I would really love for you to speak. Your work is incredible, etc. And here we are now. So, and it turns out that we were actually connected through our SOA person, and Sophie, who presented yesterday for you guys. So yeah, small world connecting the dots, but do reach out if you have any questions, thoughts, or opinions, or just want advice if you are a fellow artist in the field or looking into getting into activism as well. So I see no more questions. So Nina, thank you so very much for joining us. I know you have to hop off, so enjoy the rest of your day, and we will be in contact via email afterwards. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
And moving on to our next speaker, we have Darlien Morales from Puerto Rico, our cinematographer and producer. So the floor is yours.
Hi there, thank you. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm very excited to be sharing, the virtual screen with so many other fascinating artists. So let's share the screen really quick. Can you see it right there?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So let's begin. So right now on this artistic expression session, right, we're going to be focusing on cinematic experience. My name is Darlien Morales, and just like Kajida said, I'm a producer and cinematographer. I develop content for different categories. Right now I'm based in Puerto Rico, but I do travel often. And it ranges from commercials to tourism promotions, short films, feature films. I studied back in 2015, more or less. That's when I finished my BFA in film and television from SCAT, and I focused on documentary filmmaking. And from that desire and interest into documentary, I went into environmental filmmaking. And that's where it all, kind of shined with the ocean. Just as an idea, right? It led me to become a dive master, a rescue diver, an nitrox, a CPR. Like, I was not really necessarily planning to go into that route. It just kept on growing. Coming from the island, coming from Puerto Rico, I already had an affinity with the ocean, but it was through cinema and filmmaking that I was able to hone those things and put the two together, right? So I wanna show you this clip really quickly, just as a way to get started, right? And then from there, we'll go a little bit deeper. But this clips are what I got them for the Weather Channel in collaboration with Discover Puerto Rico. And this is not the actual sequence of the series. The series is called The Uncharted Adventures, and you can find it in the Weather Channel. I just took, sorry for that. I just took the clips that I enjoyed most, or I saw them as cinematic, as impactful, to make it into a very short thing. It's a seasonal reel type of thing. Kind of, and I'll go into it after you get to see it, and I'll say why. So this is very short, as you can see, but I think like one of the strongest things about it is the little story that's right there. You get to see the character, the main character, which is the shark. You get to see the bait. You get to see them eating, right? And there's actually two sharks. This is a bigger shark, right? You get to see the eye, the detail, right? Then this is another shark. That day on that dive, we had about 9 to 8 sharks, and that is a sign of a healthy reef. So little things throughout the dive allow us to kind of have an understanding of what's going on in the ocean, right? As you can see, this is a much smaller shark, and it doesn't digest it entirely. See the food, it's still in the mouth. So what I'm doing here is breaking it down. Even though this show was meant for entertainment purposes, it still has educational aspects to it, right? And throughout my work, I try to have that combination of being able to showcase the beauty and the wonders of what we can get to see, still having some educational aspect to it. So because at the end of the day, I think like one of my main goals has become to bridge that gap. And I was able to meet Sylvia Earle, and we both share that idea. And one of the ways that she sums it up is in this quote, is like, the best scientists and explorers have the attributes of kids. They ask questions and have a sense of wonder. And I think that's what we always have to keep in mind whenever we are either trying to conserve the ocean, learn about it, or anything in that sense, so that we can actually have that engagement that'll move us forward. So as I was mentioning, video allows for research and education. It allows the cameras nowadays, even as they keep on getting more and more advanced, they have GPS capabilities. Of course, when you're underwater at depths, it doesn't necessarily work. But when you get to the surface, you're near the area, you can pin it, as well as, with the help of the boat and the captain, GPS, you can also get the coordinates and have all those things that are very important, not only to try to capture, again, the same animals, but also to share that information with scientists that are trying to find that animal, or vice versa. The scientists want us to capture content for them, so we end up getting that information from them to be able to do that. So video allows for that. Another thing that it does allow is animal identification, animal identifiers. And I think this happens more for photography, where you can have, when you're taking a picture of, let's say, a shark, for instance, it has like a certain lasers that go from one end to the other end when your strobes flash. And that has a digital measurement of how large the shark is. And that information is used for scientists and any other research facility to either for conservation or any need that they may have. So cameras allow us to have a visual, read and representation of things that we, with like the naked eye, could possibly not do. It also allows us to capture birthmarks, wounds from the animals. Some of these sharks, or end up being tagged, and we want to know how they're doing, how they're going about their lives. And then not only sharks, manatees and so on. So it's always great to have the visual and the video aspect of it. It'll tell that that animal is fine, right? And like I mentioned before, being able to capture things on camera, it allows for documentation in general, right, for the research and education purposes. And some of those examples are time lapses, critter cameras, and night vision. So, and if you guys are not aware with what critter cams are, is really, if you can see right here, this penguin right here, this is a critter camera. I'm sorry, my accent, by the critter camera. And it has a lens right here. And what it does is that it allows access for the camera people, right, the filmmakers, to the world of the animal, because the animal is being the cameraman, and quote unquote, right? And it's giving us a way into a behavior that normally we would have not been able to capture if we ourselves were taking the camera, or even leaving it, on a tripod, or hiding it into the bushes. The actions that were able to be captured with this camera were groundbreaking, not only for filmmaking, but also for research and so many other efforts. And then I want to show you, another way that is very important that video allows us to see, and it's the progress of time, right? Time lapses. Because at the end of the day, video is a tool, right? That's what it allows us to do. Let's wait on this commercial. And this is a very quick example of how a healthy coral transforms into a bleached coral, right? This is not something that we necessarily get to see in the naked eye, unless you're diving constantly to that same reef. And even then, you get to notice the differences, but you don't get to see it in that detail, right? And I encourage you guys to, hold up, let me go back to my presentation. And I encourage you guys to check out Chasing Coral if you guys haven't. It's a fantastic film that has a lot of visual representation of time lapses for both, dying coral as well as healthy coral. And those vibrant colors are just fascinating and definitely make you want to cry, smile, and cry again and smile again. It's a roller coaster of emotion, and I really encourage you to check it out. So with that being said, all of those tools that I was mentioning, right, that video allows us to do, educate and research through different aspects of it, are not necessarily as strong as they could be if they're not paired with storytelling. And that's where video shines, right? Cinema shines. It allows for curiosity and attention from the public. It educates as well. And the biggest one, it incentivizes action, right? Whether it is images from things that we don't necessarily want to see, like the shark finning, or whether it is the amazing aspects of mating from animals, they allow us, they educate us, right? And then it's our way to be able to tell it through storytelling that we can actually have a positive impact, right? Because just images of horrible, ocean unwanted activities, right, are not going to necessarily cut it for people to act. And same as only fantastic visuals of animals are not only going to cut it as well. So it's finding that balance between, the reality of the things that are happening, as well as what it is, the wonders that it has, and how we can always improve on those. So it's a thin line, but I think like storytelling is the strongest part that video has to offer. Oh, there. Oh, sorry. Wait, before we go, I skipped some ones. Yeah. So I guess I wanted to show you a little bit of a project I did a while ago after I went to college. Some of the projects that I'm working on right now, we end up signing NDAs and we can't really share of what they are going to be. A lot of documentaries tend to last about 2-3 years, 4, sometimes even more than that. I'm still in constant conversations about projects that were 6 years ago that, we're aiming to have them come across. So I guess in a sense, I wanted to show another piece of work, but it's much older and it's one that I did for when I was a senior at college. And this is just a teaser. Okay, so just to give you a little bit of context, the story behind this one, hold up, let's go back to the presentation again. The story behind this one is that active munitions from World War II still remain in the island off the coast of Puerto Rico called Culebra. And many tourists and many people that go and visit this island, especially because of one of their beaches is one of the tops in the world, Flamenco Beach, they're not necessarily aware of it. There's also people that live in the island and they got expropriated from the Navy. And there's a whole story about, the fishermen working and fighting their way to protect the ocean, because they know that their livelihood depends on it. So it was very, eye-opening. And actually, this project was what led me into a path of becoming a dive master, in a sense. I got certified to be able to capture the active munitions underwater. And that was back in 2014. And, now it's 2022. And I was able to continue on my journey into documenting, ocean situations as I kept on growing. But it's just to show you that with film, we are able to capture many things, that gave me the opportunity to show the reference of hazardous items that general public has limited or no access to, right? It's very hard to identify what a bomb looks like. It's from World War II, so a lot of years have happened, and how coral grows on top of it. But it's still a problem because it can detonate, right? And there have been the detonations that have happened, either planned ones and some of them that have not been planned. So it's kind of like a tough situation to say, oh, let's just take out all the bombs, well, not necessarily is the, the best thing to do, because a lot of marine life has grown on top of it. So taking that out is actually going to harm the environment, and then leaving those in is also harming the environment because of the toxins that it leaves. So there are, it's a very sensitive topic, but if we don't get to show it visually, then we can't necessarily do anything about it. And I think like that's one of the things that video allows us to do. It's video assets, it's like library documentation for people to have a different perspective of what's going on underwater. And there are some other examples that I've been able to work on that are short films as well. And they have different things that have been able to grant, like species research and documentation, innovation opportunities, and community connection. Like for instance, the Coral Keepers was what won jury award back in the Savannah Film Festival. I think it was in 2019. And this one was about a much lighter sense, right? This is about girl divers, and they're all about 12 years old to 15, more or less, and they're amazing divers. They are amazing scientists, and they are treating the corals. And that was an entirely different story, told from the eyes of kids, and how they have this excitement for the ocean, and how they are actually, not only going into the water to help, but they were also going to the courtrooms and presenting what their findings. It's just very amazing and inspiring. And I wanted to, keep on going to that sense of inspiration, that sense of jaw-dropping aspect that the ocean provides us. It's a fantastic environment with, just like Joshua was mentioning, the aspect of breathing, mental health, right? When you're going underwater, you have this sense of calm, all these encounters that come in, and it's just fascinating, the creatures that you get to encounter. When I go into the water, and these are just pictures, I know that it's a little bit more on cinema, but whenever I go into the water, I try to take the opportunity to not only do video, I try to do also photography, because they both are kind of like family, right? They're both hand in hand. And sometimes what I can capture with video, right, the behaviors and stuff like that, the other things I want to capture with photography, which is stuff I want to freeze this moment in time, and I want you to pay attention and close attention to this. Look at this beautiful octopus, right? You can see the eye that's right here. This is one of the tentacles. It's inside like it's like a ruin of something. Like I was diving, and that ruin has been there for a long time, so the corals have been grown on top of it, but it was hiding in there. I was very curious, actually. I didn't know it was there until it kind of peeked out and then picked back in, and it was like an interesting dance. And there's just something about the ocean, right? Here we see a turtle as well, and I find this very interesting because it just feels like there's no water. It feels like it's flying. You can see a little bit of the backscatter, but still it has that sense of calmness, right? This one, it's called a pez flauta. I don't know how we call it in English, but trumpet fish, I think, or flute fish. And it's very peculiar how it eats. It's just like in that sense, in that vertical aspect, which is not normal to other fish, and it just suctions fish. And one of the things that is very interesting and intriguing for anybody that's interested into just having a camera and taking pictures on the water is that you get to be more in tune with the environment. You get to connect with the species, right? Sometimes you have an idea of, I really want to capture the species, and you're making sure that you can have the research and have the knowledge to be able to capture it. Or sometimes you end up finding that species, take pictures of it, and then go back and be trying to figure out what were they doing? Why was that creature vertical? Sorry, it's raining over here. Okay. Oh, wait, hold up. There we go. And then one last one. This is a lionfish. I like this one because it always reminds me of a spaceship. And that again, it comes to mind with like the ocean has so many lines or threads for inspiration. If you're not aware, there's so many films, for instance, Avatar, that take underwater creatures as inspiration for their, alien creatures or so on and so forth. So there's just always something to offer. And I think that if we try to show that, try to bring, give access to people that are or not even close to the ocean or are afraid of the ocean, to know that all of these things are happening, while at the same, right now, while I'm having this presentation with you guys, under the sea, there are just so many fantastic things going on. And it's always, this goes back to the quote from Soldier Earl, is so important for us to just always be like a kid and be curious enough to keep on wondering and wanting to know more. So if any of you guys are interested in underwater cinematography, and have no idea how to start, I had done a blog post a while back, and you can find it on my website, which I can link later. It's about 6 steps. It's very easy of how do you go about just going into the water and just filming, right? Like there's still a lot of things, there's technicality to it, but there's also a lot of will to it. So I just take you into a little bit of what I wish I had known while I was doing all of these things, so that hopefully you can get there faster. Oh, and then just to, whoops. Sorry, they just play on their own. And just to keep that sense of wonder going, I just wanted to share a very old video clips of multiple projects I did. It has a little bit of one I did for the Coral Keepers, the film about the girl scientists. It has a little bit about another project that I did for a Spain show, Planeta Calleja, a Spanish show. And just, it's like a potpourri of multiple projects here and there. But it just gives you that sense of wonder and that sense of diving, or at least for me it does, because it was at a point where I was finishing my dive master and I was really noticing like why I'm doing this. Like I really want to continue this because every encounter is just special. Even if my entire week was tough, when I go into the water, that made the whole entire month. You know what I mean? So that's pretty much it. I want to invite you guys to stay curious. I want to thank everyone for the opportunity. And you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, always with the same name, Darlien Morales.
Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, I feel like now I want to see the Coral Keepers. Where can we watch it? Where can we see it? How can we see it?
So right now I was a director and a co-producer for it, but we're still trying to continue to work on it. Right, the short version got several awards, but we want to extend it because we know it's a strong piece. But again, it takes time, funding, and you can imagine how it all goes. But hopefully we wanted to share it. We're just awaiting on several aspects of the structure, and we want to share it.
Okay, well, as soon as it becomes available to share, please do send it to me on social media or email, and I would send it to all our members because I absolutely love the work that you're doing. And I'm seeing here, Robin says, your pieces are just awesome. Wait, the comment disappear. I also really love how you relate the photos to abstract things, and your passion is undeniable. Nice work. very interested. I never thought about the impacts of the world wars on the environment, and your presentation has been eye-opening. I really enjoy this.
Thank you.
Let's see. I love this stay curious and be continuously keep channeling that inner child or that inner kid that keeps wanting to learn more, know more, understand more, and like opening access to the ocean for so
Yeah.
much people that don't have access to it, like storytelling, photography, cinematography, art, music. All these things are such powerful tools. So you guys are doing absolutely amazing work. Any other comments? Any questions before we move on to our next speaker?
Yeah, no, I think like on that note, I think you were mentioning the idea of staying curious. If you don't, at the end, a lot of times we always focus on the idea of passion, right? But we can't necessarily identify, you know, is it passion, is it not? Because a lot of times it's exhausting, right? To keep on doing the things that you do. But if you have curiosity, I think that's what I think. If you have curiosity, even if you're having, you know, a tough time, you somehow power through it because you're trying to figure something out, and it empowers you to move forward, right? Rather than just being like a fashion or inspiration just comes to me. It's like,
Yeah,
not necessarily every time comes to you. So
that's
so
very true.
that.
Yeah, no, I'll remember that one. That is very, very true. I just have well, I have a question, but like on average, when you get a project or you decide that, hey, you know, I want to tell this story, like usually, let's say it's a 30-minute documentary or something, like how long does it take from ideation to execution?
It really depends on the project and the story itself, you know. A story on one species would not take as long as if it is a story on multiple species, right? If it's going to be on species, right? And if it's going to be on species, then you have to think about the season of when they're breeding, when they're eating, when they're doing their thing, so that you can plan your production aspect through it, right? And then after you do the production, you have to plan the editing and the pre-production and so on. So it really, really depends on the story, because, you know, if it's the story for Beneath Paradise, which is the one about the World War II, then that was different as well. We didn't have to worry about the species necessarily, but we did have to worry or think about, okay, when will this island be busiest, right? Who are we trying to interview? You know, will the people be there? If it's Christmas time, it could be, but they may be going to visit family. So it's a little bit about a lot of planning and having those logistics locked, right? But making sure that the story is strong. And sometimes you find the story along the way.
Very, very true. Very true. I had an next question for you, but there's noise on my side. And it's
I don't know if you guys could hear. I have a lot of rain going in right now. I don't know. I felt like I was not being heard. I don't know.
No, we heard you. We heard you. I only heard the rain coming down to the end, but like on my side, I can't even concentrate. Like it's so loud. But does anyone have any other questions, thoughts, comments, opinions, anything else? And if anything comes to you, like I've been saying, please do reach out, send a message, connect on Instagram. Be sure to mention that you came from Thinking Beyond the Tides, please, so that we feel like, you know, there was some connectivity with the program. But so far, no one is saying anything else. So Darlien, thank you so very much. And with that, we will move on to Javier Diaz, our underwater photographer. I know you kind of touched on that a little bit, but Javier, the floor is yours.
Hello, Kaja. How are you? How's everything? Okay,
I
let
am
me
good.
try to put the presentation on. You tell me if you can see it.
Not yet. Yes, we can see it.
Yeah, okay. Let me put it on. How about now?
Yeah, all good.
Good. Well, hello, my name is Javier Pardo. I am from Panama City, Panama. I am a marine biology student, and I do also underwater photography. Let's start with a brief introduction about marine biology. What is marine biology? Isn't it? Is the study of the marine science? Let's say, is a side of the of biology itself, and it focuses on studying not only flora, fauna, but also the water quality and sustainability of communities and all that. So through that, I was able to start taking pictures of the ocean, many animals, corals, and as well, I try to present these projects to people and to teach them about what is marine biology and why we have to pay attention to it. So just like a briefing, benefits of the ocean, tourism, sustainability, jobs and companies, food, regulated the temperature of the planet, controls the planet's climate, considerable amount of minerals for general use, and it provides the most of the oxygen we breathe. Half of the 50% of the oxygen we breathe comes from the ocean. So that's why we should start like putting or making noise, like to protect it. And that's where photography comes in. As the before speaker was saying, it is important to share everything that we go through as not only marine biology people, scientists, people who are who matter about the ocean, who start making projects like beach cleanups, like videography, cinematography, for sharing to people that are not into the ocean, as we ocean people, let's say it, are, to start creating start creating, let's say, yeah, for people to get to know and get to know the importance of the ocean and why we should protect it. So what is happening? I bet we all know what is happening with the ocean: overfishing, increase of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, pollution from underthreatened effluent disposal, excess fertilizer and organic matter, petroleum, plastic, and synthetics. So we know what is happening, and that's why we, not me, I encourage everyone to, whenever they go to the ocean, whenever they see this kind of stuff, take a picture, because a picture is not something that it will last only for one day, or it's like a memory. It's like a memory. I mean, you're gonna see it all over the internet. Right now we have social media and sharing this kind of stuff. For example, this photo that that is here about face mask, I took it on 2021 on January, and that face mask was drifting in the ocean, and some were attached to some of the corals. This is a fire coral, which has branches and allowing this the cords of the face mask and all that to stick to it. So fish like damselfish and others can go into their home because like they may lose their home. So this is a way to spread awareness. We also try to picture some of the for beach cleanups, underwater cleanups that we do. These are bags full of cans. Water was a little murky, so it's maybe like blurry in the photo. This is a dolphin, and behind is is a fishing boat, and this is me picking up also underwater trash. So as you can see, photography, we take these photos and present them to the ministry, the decision makers, for them to start taking awareness or like getting to know what is happening in the ocean. And because of the bad, let's not say bad, because we don't want to target but the decisions, or what are they doing, what is causing. And that's why there are many projects. And for example, this week in Panama, the COP19 of CITES is well, the convention is happening in Panama. And yesterday, the fishing of some sharks of the Carcharodonida family, 54 are protected. It was a proposal presented by Panama. And the amount of PowerPoints, photos, or the way that we get to start making awareness of the protection of those sharks was because of the photos. People were taking a lot of photos. There were a lot of photos of blue sharks, bull shark as well, presented in all the convention center, and it allowed to people to see, like, not only how beautiful that animal is, but the importance. And many people started as well sharing photos on their Instagram, TikToks, and other social media platforms to create awareness by photography and cinematography. So some of the hard work I've been doing, I'm working with Smithsonian in Panama, and we have a project of we take water quality sampling in the Gulf of Panama. And just to mention, Panama has two coasts. Panama is a small country, but a beautiful one in Central America. And we have the benefit to have two oceans, and so close to get from one ocean to the other. The Caribbean part, the Caribbean side, is full of, let's say, the corals. You can see corals easier in the Caribbean part as a difference in the Pacific part. So because of the amount of nutrients that has the water in the Pacific side, and many rivers also like flush out in the Pacific Ocean, so in the Pacific side of Panama. So that's why we try to make this projects, and we as well share it to many other, for example, the COP, CITES, our ocean, this kind of conventions to spread awareness. Also, photos that I took while we do that work. We go to the Gulf every Wednesday, and I was able to take some photos as well of dolphins, pelicans, whales. We have the whale season in Panama. It lasts from July to October, and many people from other countries come to Panama to take pictures of whales. So it also, the photography not only works for creating awareness, but it also helps people people that are into the ocean works and all that, to create jobs, spread tourism. So it's not only for protection, but it's an income, not only for the country, but for the people who live of that. In the Bahamas, for example, or Trinidad and Tobago, for example, people go there to have experience of diving and all that. So photography, it's underwater photography. It not only works for spreading the voice, but to create jobs. So it's a way to generate a lot of influence in many aspects or topics. We also in Panama have the problem of the lionfish that we have. That is all in all the Caribbean, and by these videos, these are lionfish that we hunt in the Caribbean side, that is more close to Colombia, and sharing these photos. The Ministry of Environment in Panama started creating awareness about not only fishing them, but to eat them. because the only parts that are venomous about lionfish are the two lateral fins and the dorsal one. So once you cut, you can cut it with a scissor. Once you cut these three fins, you can eat the fish without any harm. And that's why we are trying to start creating awareness on the lionfish topic as well. We also, via these photos, we create like a campaign about we were trying to not to avoid the shark consumption and to start, instead of shark, selling and eating lionfish, because by just fishing this, not only we start creating like I mean, it's a biological control, because these are invasive species in the Caribbean. These are also more of the photos I've done through the years. I started this like in 2017, when I got my PADI license. Till now, I've been snorkeling and doing scuba diving all over the country, and hopefully soon more often in other countries, to see like and compare the fauna and flora that we have here to the ones that they have in other countries, and to spread the word about what we have, why we should protect it in Panama. Sorry. So yeah, these are, for example, zoantids. These animals are a family that are a part of the Anthozoa class, which is where corals are also part of. So we have this zoantids. Not too many people knew about these animals. I won. It was a a contest of a photography one, and I got the third place with this photo, and it was called, well, in Spanish, fuegos artificiales, which is like I forgot the I forget the firework. Thank you. So yeah, because of the colors, so you can not only take the photo, you can name it. I mean, photography is art, and I think we are like so sure about it. So this kind of photos help not only people to awareness, but also get to know what they have and understand, learn. I try to do on my Instagram page like a kind of a blog of photos that we have of photos of animals, flora, fauna that we have in Panama, and people all have talked to me and said, I never knew that kind of animal existed. And most of it zoanthus, because they are really small. I mean, they can be like an earring, the size of an earring, each one. Like the ones that are like dots, yeah, it's compared to that. And again, why it matters. We've been doing I with also friends of mine from the university. I'm sorry, my cat. Yeah, we've been doing photography and spreading the word in schools, in other institutions around Panama City and the provinces of Panama, and teaching kids what we have. For example, this one and this one, the photo in the middle was about lionfish hunting, and because this is from Colón, which is the province that is in the Caribbean side, and many of the many fathers and mothers of those kids are fishing, are fishermen and women. So get into teaching them what is happening with the lionfish may create awareness, and also they can spread the word to their parents, for example, and to start their parents fishing the lionfish, because some communities in Panama are scared of lionfish. It may be because of the some indigenous people may think, because it's about, they look like a demon in their culture, of course. So spreading awareness, spreading what is a lionfish, what it can cause to the oceans, is a way that we can like share the word, and share why they should protect it, and that they can eat it also. Because sometimes when I say, yeah, you can eat lionfish, they get like, what is it, is it for real, isn't it, is not gonna kill me, or what, or something. So yeah. And these are other two speeches that we have been given to kids about coral reef. This was a workshop about marine ecosystems to the kids. So it's a way for them to, it's a way of teaching, you know. So these are the next ones are a lot of photos of projects that we've been working on. This is a project that we have in Panama about coral reef restoration. So this is one of the structures that we have, and these are two of the divers that were diving with me that day. So they were working together and in the project. It is really nice to know as well that when we upload this photo, as well as the other ones, like this one, this Acropora cervicornis, which is an I think is that in the common name is elk horn coral.
Yes.
Yeah.
Elkhorn.
Thank you. So yeah, I mean, trying to spread the word of what is happening with these corals, with the Acropora cervicornis, that they are right now they are now in trouble because of climate change, warming up the oceans. So by sharing this, also people get to know what we are doing, and many divers from literally around the world start asking us for being part of this project and protect well, be part of this project and work together. This is another structure that we have, which is a coral tree. This was like a year ago. So now the corals in this tree are really big. They're growing so fast. They're growing so good. So, you know, sharing this kind of projects, people in the news have also shared this amazing experience that we went through. And for example, in Panama, we have the train, and in the televisions of the train, sometimes by a publicity, they share what Panama has to offer to tourism, and to other people to start the awareness. In Panama, right now, the plastic straws are banned, as well as other plastic objects. And the campaign started because of photos of turtles with straws attached to any part of their body, or maybe turtles in the beach that were, well, that maybe ate a plastic bag or something like that. So that kind of stuff make people aware, and they started a campaign as well as a no plastic campaign. No straw, please, which in Spanish was no sin carrizo, por favor. So this is other projects that I took because I love fauna and flora, not only from the ocean but in general. This is a pencil sea urchin, and the camera they have is an Olympus, which has a really nice zoom, and you can zoom in and see all the structures of many animals. So I was able to take picture of it and again spread the word. I bought a drone few months ago, And I'm starting as well doing more projects of like, you know, corals, coastal communities, coastal environments. And I've seen this video kind of like this one in many other countries. And I said, like, why in Panama we don't have that? We only like share pictures mostly of whales, because that's what people like the most. And I was like, no, we have to do that. We have to do a video like this one. So this is a coast in the Caribbean side. There's Montrastria, which is or Orbicella franski, which is a mountainous star coral from the sky, of course. And the views are similar to Hawaii. And I was like, yeah, in Panama, we have kind of photos like in Hawaii. So yeah, I try to recreate that video and sharing like to everyone to see the beautiness, because not too many people like to snorkel, but people like to go to the beach, and yeah, for them to see what we have. This is a feather worm, the Christmas tree feather worm. So it was a close-up. You can see them and like attached to corals. I like most macro photo, but for this you need like a lot of really good lights. There are lights that are cheap. So if you want like any advice on photography, I'm so happy to help you. So yeah, there are like photos. Mine's are like really big, and not that really big actually, but they are like $30 and they work so well. I have them like 3 years ago. I got one at like 3 years ago, and still have it, still working, and allow me to take this kind of photos, because micro photography, you need to have really good light, because for you to see all the details. This is another project that we've been working with, of taking out some ghost nets. This is a project with the government of Canada that was helping a project here in Panama. So it's like a link between the two governments. And we were in the place taking photos to spread the word as well on ghost nets, like not using it. Here in Panama, it is not banned. Most of what is banned is fishing in specific places, but this kind of this fishing way is not banned. So this is what it may cost. Mostly this ghost nets are because people like fishermen and women use really big nets, leave it like for hours, but maybe they forgot, maybe they get the police officers may come, or because I mean here in Panama it is regulated, of course, the size of the hole that the fish net has to have. And yeah, maybe they get the command, yeah, police officers may come and they leave the fishing nets over there, or sometimes it just like breaks apart and start drifting and cause this kind of dangers. Yeah. So sorry, my God. Again. So yeah, sorry. Well, so this photo help as well make awareness. People from the Authority of Marine Resources in Panama spread it, and it creates a huge impact, as well as, because I mean this is not the first one that they picked up. They picked up before another one that had many sharks attached to it. Some were alive, some others were dead, because most sharks need to just keep swimming like Dory to breathe. So when they get attached to this, as well as fish, when they get attached to this, they not only can eat, can feed, or whatever, they become they become predated. Let's say, I don't know. I think it's that word. Because many animals, I mean, of course, use the advantage and start eating them. So it's really tragic. Let's go with colors again. These are this is brain coral. Again, a zoom one, a zoom photo, and I really need the light that I have now, because you can see there's a lot of shade, so you need to use a really good light to take these kind of photos. This was at night with a flash. This a blenny fish, and you can see, well, that was with my flash. I didn't have the light, but you can see that there is a dark spot here. That's why we really need to use that kind of well, we really need to use good lights. It's a nurse shark that I found on my birthday. That was the best birthday gift that I could get. And also the shark photo in the Colon area of Panama, which is in the Caribbean side. Some sharks are fished, so spreading using this shark, like, to see not only this photo, I have more, but this kind of photos, we started like spreading like everywhere, to create also awareness, to protect them, not only because they're cute and amazing, but because they are the top predators, and they are like let's say the doctors of the sea. This is a cute damselfish that I found as well, and this is a drone photo. So this kind of photos, I posted on my Instagram to try to make a blog, as I said before, and people are really sharing these photos to others, and to get to know what we have, you know. And this well, this is one of the places in the Caribbean coast of Panama. Here you can see it's a fish, un cardumen. Forgot again, sorry. Well, this is a sun anemone. Then also I start making posts about this for like education efforts. Islands in Panama, colors. So you can use these photos as a centollo. So yeah, this kind of photos have worked really good on spreading the word and helping us to share to everyone. Again, I have 24 years old. I am still a student, and I started this project because I wanted to take like to do something for the oceans. So I encourage you all to, if you are like starting photographer or want to start photography and spreading the word, you can do it. There are many people out there that had the same struggle. Not everything has to be perfect. Not all the photos are going to be perfect. I took so many photos around the time that I been, well, this is the Caribbean coast, like it's as a matter to close. So yeah, I mean, you can start whenever you want. Photography is not something that is only specific to some people, but it's to I mean, if you want to do it, you can do it. Just put all your effort in it, and you're gonna make it. So this is my Instagram. If y'all wanna check out some information or some of the posts that I have posted there. And yeah, I can end my presentation with this video. So I don't know if you guys have any questions and or wanna like make connections or something. So yeah, let me.
Are you going to show us the video, Javier, or we ending
I
the
don't know. It
presentation here?
stopped. I thought it was. I thought it. I thought you stopped it because I was running out of time. I'm sorry, but yeah, okay. So just the Caribbean part, I made it because of the Ocean Awareness Month in Panama, which is in September, and I try to post it like as a way to people for like see like the corals and what we have to offer. The fish that I was talking about, I don't know how to mention it. Think of me whenever you're afraid. Said one day you'll leave this world behind. So live a life you will remember. My father told me when I was just a child. These are the nights you never die. My father told me. My father told me. My father told me.
All right. Thank you so much, Javier. Oh my gosh, absolutely amazing way to end.
You're welcome. I'm sorry. I stopped it because I thought you stopped it because I run out of time. But
No, it's it's fine.
but yeah, whenever you have a question about photography, I'm so happy to help. I come from yeah, I didn't take any course. I wanted to, but I haven't because they are not cheap. But I've learned through YouTube videos, to checking some blogs and all that. So you can do it as well. Um, we are so supportive, not only me, but there are many photographers out there that are willing to help. So whatever question, whatever tip you need, or in photography, whatever you need, yeah, I can help you. And there is, yeah, in the video you can see my my Instagram account, so feel free to text me and ask whatever question you have. So yeah, many thanks, Katja. Many thanks for all the room for, yeah, many thanks for the room for your attention.
Yes, of course. I love the photos to help with decision making, to contribute more to science. You using your social media platform as a tool to raise awareness, to build different campaigns. And the fact that you also touched on how it could contribute to the blue economy in terms of tourism and creating jobs, like all of that was very, very, very interesting. And something that you talked about, oh, I see a dog. Sorry, I got distracted. There was a cat in one, now there's a dog. Like today is just the day for biodiversity, right? But you mentioned, which is something that we could relate to here in Trinidad, that unfortunately we eat shark. Like it's very much a tradition, a custom. We have a dish called bacon shark, and you said that you guys were developing a campaign, like instead of shark, let's try to eat lionfish. And I think that that is absolutely amazing, and it's about shifting, cultural and unsustainable practices into a way that could help the environment, biodiversity, and all of those things. So great work. Thank you so much for answering my call. Guys, Javier was nervous when I messaged him on Instagram. He was just like, oh my gosh, okay, I'll do it. I'm scared, but I'll do it. And, like you said, he's 24 years old, and what a way to end by showing us Panama. And the Our Ocean Conference is coming up next year. So for the SOA, I'm also in my t-shirt. Yeah, so for those of us who are 35 and under, I would drop the application in the chat for us to apply to the Our Ocean Conference in Panama next year, where we could go and meet Javier and see all these amazing, pictures and stuff in firsthand. And we do have a question for you. It says, when you do your photos, do you see underwater mud volcanoes venting or marine life feeding around it?
Let me do underwater mud volcanoes maybe mud volcanoes may I think it's referring to the little cones that create in the sand, that are created in the sand. Well, because the thing is that in Panama we don't have like a volcanic activity, if you say, but the mud volcanoes of some of the Poliqueta, I think it's in English. Yeah, you can see them like a lot, mostly close to mangroves. And yeah, I mean, when you go just to do snorkeling, you can see like a lot of things. And yeah.
Seeing Carlos asking, how can I contact Javier if you want to receive more information?
Okay, about I'm sorry, I just read methane,
Methane, either one.
okay,
Yeah.
that band. We haven't found that yet in Panama. The only volcanic activity or vents that we found that have been found in Panama are in the Coiba island, which is one of the biggest islands in the Pacific, the America continent, Pacific side, and it's part of the corridor between Cocos Island and Galapagos. That's where you can find like much volcanic activity or methane vents. But again, Panama doesn't have like a lot of volcanic activity, and the huge volcano we have, the one that's sleeping and not active but sleeping, is the Volcan Baru, which is the tallest mountain as well in Panama. And
I see also a comment, whoa, you really captured some lovely pictures and I enjoyed the presentation. Wonderful photos. Thanks so much for sharing, Javier. And like I said, Carla asked how she could contact you. So I guess you could drop your social media handles and stuff again in the chat so everyone can connect. And on that note, Darlien, and well, do we have any more questions? Well, I have a question for you, Javier. If it is or Darlien, either of you could answer, seeing as this falls in both of your gardens. But for someone interested in getting into underwater photography or videography and is on a budget, like what do you all think is like the best first camera to use that wouldn't like send you on the streets begging for food and money afterwards,
yeah,
that could still capture good photos or videos?
well, I have right now the Olympus TG6, the Olympus stuff TG6, which was I think it was 400. But before I started with a $60 camera that I got in Amazon, and it did its job. So I got like so into the photography. I was so like astonished of what a camera underwater can do. So I got a GoPro, and then I got to the Olympus one. And now I'm saving money to get like a professional one, maybe a Sony that has like really amazing colors. I have this camera, which is the one that I use for outside the water. But a camera like this can help you in when you are underwater, and just that when you are using like those huge professional cameras, you need like more light than anything.
Yeah.
Because of the ISO and all that.
So I'll jump into thanks, Javier. I think one of the questions that whoever's gonna be doing either photo or video has to answer is, which one of those are you more interested in? And what kind of animal do you see yourself taking pictures of? So for instance, if you see yourself capturing more wider animals type of thing, a good budget camera would be a GoPro, right? Because you can have very high quality. It will be like, let's say you want to capture whales, you'll be able to have the whale in the shot. Whether if you have an Olympus, even though it'd be great, your vision will be limited, right, from the camera. So it's a little bit of figuring that out. But the Olympus is a fantastic camera for a low budget scenario. You can do macro as well as wide, not necessarily extremely wide like a GoPro can, but it's a way to see it, right? So you have to identify what budget it is. If you're thinking, oh, okay, so I'm going to spend about $200 or $300 on this. So it's like, okay, so a GoPro can be that, or an Olympus with some lights could be that. You can also, for the GoPro, if you guys could go into Backscatter, and it's a website that you can modify your GoPro. So when I was first starting out, right now I use Red Cinema cameras, which is an entirely different ballgame. But when I was first starting out, I got a GoPro, and by this time it was like GoPro 2 or GoPro 1, right? So it was like very crappy quality from what we have now. So now it's just fantastic compared. But I was able to modify it. So you have diopters. You can have diopters to make the lens, force the lens to become kind of a macro lens, right? And you also can have some red filters on it, which can be, you can add it to the lens as well. And then, so it's a combination of figuring that out. But I think a GoPro could be a good point. I always go with a GoPro because it lasts a long time. And even if you get, in the long run, even if you have larger cameras, like let's say a DSLR or a Sony or Red or whatever, you're always going to be using a GoPro at some point. Like I have my Red setup or my big camera setup, and I attach the GoPro to it, because sometimes you never know, like sometimes the battery's out of the big camera. Sometimes I want to get some behind the scenes, so I use the GoPro for that. It's been times that the big camera ends up like not functioning because there's technicalities that sometimes happen, and I end up just grabbing that GoPro and just rolling with it, you know what I mean? So it's a good base to have. As you keep on growing, you buy adapters to it and more and so forth, and it's a matter of figuring that out. But like I mentioned before, I think a good place to start would be the blog that I mentioned. I put it on the chat because I cover that a little. I've had this question so many times, so that's why in a sense I created that blog. It's like, okay, before you start thinking about a camera, tell me, can you swim? Like, are you good with water? Okay, let's start up with that one. And then when you have the opportunity to think about the camera, like think about those things. What species are you going to be using? What scenarios, like where do you live? Is the water greener or is it bluer? There's just so many aspects that are going to be unique to you, and you need to start identifying those so that you can find what best camera is for you. Because I could tell you, just grab whatever camera, and it may not necessarily work for you, right? You may need more low light sensitivity cameras than than somebody else.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you so much, Darlien and Javier. Once again, absolutely amazing presentations. I know Joshua and Nina had to hop off, but really great last session on artistic expressions for marine conservation. And I think we really saw how all these different tools could be used. I'm seeing more Tino content, please.
Tigo,
so-
with a G.
Oh, okay, yeah. And stuff. And on that note, we are wrapping up this lovely week of absolutely amazing content. I hope that with this week and all the different topics that were brought to you, that it was able to open your eyes into the different avenues that exist in the marine conservation space, help broaden the mindset, help you think of new ways or new avenues that you could get into, even if you don't already have the skill set. Like Javier said, he didn't study for it. He just used YouTube, picked up a camera, and just decided he wanted to document what was happening, bringing the ocean to the people and stuff. So yeah, I will mention again, the deadline for the All Ocean Conference in Panama is next week. So 35 and under, please do apply. If we have it on our social media account, if I don't drop it in the chat. And then hopefully next year we could bring Thinking Beyond the Ties to in-person event. That is the goal. I'm trying to find funding for it already so that we could have all these lovely speakers be present and all of you from the different islands come together in one place for us to really, build that young ocean leadership that we so desperately need here in the region. And then let's see. I have my list of things that I need to cover before we go. And as this session was focused on artistic expressions, one of our members, Katrina, she is hosting a Sip and Paint here in Trinidad and Tobago on December 10th, marine conservation themed. So you all will get an email about that, and hopefully, we can show up and use art as a tool to raise awareness. And then certificates. So Joshua would have dropped the attendance link in the chat today. So be sure to fill that out, and all of you all would have received an email yesterday with the access to the different resources. I'm gonna ask Darlien and Javier to also send me their presentations, as well as Nina, so that you all could have access to that as well, and reach out if anything comes up. And if you missed a session, the recordings are there, so please watch it and then fill out the questions so that you'll be able to get these certificates. The closing ceremony was supposed to be tomorrow, but to give everybody time to watch the recordings and to recover from this week, I decided to cancel the closing session tomorrow, and the certificates will be emailed out on Monday. But by the end of the year, we would have a next virtual event where all of us could come together and connect, and we could really get to know some of you more. Unfortunately, we didn't have the opportunity to do that on Monday. Still can't believe that happened, but you all stuck through and enjoy the week. And I see Carla is saying thanks for this amazing week, Khadija, and to all the team of SOA and the presenters. It has been an amazing experience. Well, Carla, thank you so much for showing up and engaging with the content and the presenters. And am I missing anything? I don't think so. Does anyone have any last minute questions, closing remarks, comments, anything before we hop off?
Khadija, I want to thank you, first of all, because I know that you putting this together is not an easy task. For
Very
sure.
true.
For having everybody there. So thank you for that. I hope that there are more efforts on this matter. I do see that there's a question, I think, from N Neptune. Oh, okay. So you're talking, those are 2 Emmys that I got for producing and cinematography for a series called Sounds Like Puerto Rico. You can find it in YouTube. It's called like that, Sounds Like Puerto Rico. It's a 5-episode series. It's very short and it's more about, it's promoting tourism, but it has a little bit of a environmental, ecotouristic approach to it. That's really was my main goal. And that just comes down to the idea of curiosity, right? Anytime I have the opportunity to have projects that have storytelling in it and have to do with nature in some form, I try to be able to like capture that sense of wonder and that sense of excitement that helps people just want to preserve it, right? Or wants to like be part of it. So hope that answers your question, Neptune.
Yeah. And I'm seeing here Mariah saying, yes, Carla, what Carla said, this was a very insightful workshop, and thank you. And then Neptune is saying, thank you for replying for your great work. And on that note, once again, well, thank you so much, Darlien, for the remarks. Of course, it really is not a very easy task putting together these workshops, but I definitely, as yesterday, one of our presenters, Vita Wade, she said it's so important if we don't have access to some of these spaces that we start building our own tables to create, you know, the space, the knowledge sharing and stuff. And that is exactly what I have been trying to do, and bring in different people to the forefront, opening different minds and just connecting people to the different fields that exist within marine conservation that we don't usually think about, or that we don't usually think we can make a career out of it, especially in the artistic field. So it was great for you guys to present that today. And I'm seeing Stephanie saying thank you to all presenters and for all your hard work, Khadija. Thanks so much, Stephanie. And I mentioned certificates, everything. So on that note, once again, thank you guys so much, the presenters, the participants, and be sure to watch any missed recordings and look out in your inbox on Monday for a lovely certificate from SOA Caribbean and EcoVybz. And if you have any questions about anything at all, you could always reach out to me. I would answer if you want to have a meeting, if you have project ideas you want to discuss. I am here, ready to listen and help bring that to life. And I'm seeing Jay said, I couldn't have said it any better than Carla. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I learned so much more than I could have imagined. So much appreciation for the effort that went into this workshop. You are very welcome. And like I said, hopefully next year I'm working on the proposal and working for funding that we bring this to no longer be on a screen, and we could all be connected and feel each other's energy and make something happen. And then hopefully most of us could meet in Panama next year if we apply. Last comment, and then I'm ending because it's already 12:05, right? I'm seeing Robin is saying this week was just awesome. Great connecting with everyone. This opportunity was fantastic. Grew such a deeper appreciation for this field. Excited for what's to come. Thank you so much, Robin. And thanks so much again, everyone. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. And Darlien and Javier, look out for an email from me as well. Post-workshop administration duties that I have to follow up on. So yeah, enjoy the rest of your day, and bye everyone. And thanks so much again for participating. Great having you all.
Thank you. Bye-bye.